Hello everyone, my name is Daniela Grachoc and I'm a parent of 16 years old son who has a cerebral palsy, and I will be talking today about importance of family in childhood disability. This is one of 7 webinars on the F words in childhood disability. These webinars describe how the F words can be used with children from 0 to 6 years old. The F words provide a broad, straight-based approach to childhood development and are based on the World Health Organization's ICF framework. If you want to learn more about the F words, read Drs. Rosenbaum and Gorter's 2011 paper titled "The F Words in Childhood Disability. I swear this is how we should think." So on this slide you can actually see the ICF framework and the important element that I'm talking about today, family. So family factors actually fit into environment, and you will be seeing through my stories how these elements are actually connected to each other. So it is a common knowledge that family is a central environment for children where everything is happening. By that I mean that all 6 words are fulfilled within the family. We are doing fitness, many activities that support function, friendship, fun, and we plan for future. For example, on this picture, you can see my son with his best friend, his grandpa. And that is my dad, and he's a beekeeper. So one day my dad decided to include my son into that activity, to be a beekeeper with him. So he pulled out some beehives, a little bit on a more accessible spot, and he put that hat on Vasily, that's my son's name, and he rolled him up, so they were doing beekeeping. So my dad here didn't know about all fancy concepts and F words. He's just doing that out of heart and a little bit of creativity. So I can tell that role of the family is critical to child development, not just for children with health issues, for all the children. Well, reading my son's file, as large as it is, you can get a lot of information and useful information, but you can have a whole picture. The whole picture you can actually get from listening and hearing parents, what they like, what they don't like, the stories that they are telling about their child. So in our family, we really focus on my son's abilities and how he can do things. In this picture you can see again my dad and my son's grandpa playing tennis. So I didn't tell you about my son that much, but he is level 5 cerebral palsy, so he is nonverbal and basically he cannot do anything by himself. He needs help with everything. But he's playing tennis. How? Again, a little bit of creativity. You can see on the picture that my son is in a walker. We strap him down, put the brakes on so he doesn't move. You can see a big piece of foam that is in front of him under the table so he doesn't hurt himself when he tries to kick. with a bit of duct tape, and my dad is holding his hand. And of course, you can see the faces staring at me like, come on, don't take pictures, let's play. So he really, really enjoyed this activity, and we played the tennis all summer. I cannot tell you how much we actually enjoy when we see his smile and when we see how much he enjoys himself. So yeah, I think a little bit of creativity, positivity, and dwelling on abilities will do miracles. So, family center service. We all know about this concept, but are we applying it? You see, I as a mother, I am at 24/7 beside my son. Well, yes, he goes to school, but you can tell that I'm all the time with him. So imagine how big my knowledge about his needs is. Like, I usually tell about myself that I am a walking encyclopedia about my son's needs. So let me tell you a little example. By the sound of his breath, I can tell what is happening with him. So that much I know. So when I come to you as a service provider and talk about my son, there is no other way. You have to hear me, learn from me, and trust me that I'm telling you what you need to know about him. So let me tell you a little story about this picture. In this picture, my son looks like from Mars or somewhere with that strange thing on his head. And that's a head holder that I found out about from some friend, and I read about that on the internet, and I was trying to get that piece. It's very expensive. Because I was thinking, when I put that on, he couldn't hold his head in that stander when he stands because it is pulling him down. And when I put that up and he gets that feeling how he can actually stand up, that he won't need it for a long time, you know. So I asked one of our service providers to help me get that. I won't name anyone here, that's not the point. But, you know, I didn't get a good response. It was like, oh, well, I need to make an appointment, we need to read about that, we need to do this. That doing thing, it's about 6 months not doing nothing. So I gave up on that part, and I managed to get that head holder, which my son used for maybe a month or so. And you will see on the next slide how actually that looks like now. So now you can see on the picture how my son looks like. He is holding his head up, and it's mostly not because he gained some major muscle strengthening or something, but it was about him seeing that he can do that. And now, and get that feeling, right? That how it is when he stands up. So now, when he goes, really tired and something and goes down, I go like, oh, what do you think about that head holder? So he goes right up because he doesn't want it, it's not so comfortable to have all that pieces around you, but it really, really worked for us. So all my knowledge and family knowledge that is piled up during the years, it is really important because it will come as like some creative ideas. It will help you understand how you can actually incorporate your services into the family lives. So please listen to the families and trust them what they're saying. For that, I will remind you about the premises of family center service, and that is the parents know their children best and want the best for their children, right? Number 2, families are different and unique. Yeah, we are all unique, but when you are dwelling at the same diagnosis, like cerebral palsy, for example, so children with cerebral palsy are completely different, and they need completely different services. On the top of that, you have a family, like environment, that are different, so you really need to get creative there. Premise 3, optimal child functioning occurs within a supportive family and community context. The child is affected by the stress and coping of other family members. So don't add additional stress on families. They have enough. I will tell you a little story. I already did tell you one, but I will tell you another one when these premises are not met. This happened actually recently when my son ended up in a hospital. I won't tell you the whole story because that will be too much, but at one point it was emergency, and I was talking about his condition. New people, a lot of people there in emergency, and one of the simplest things they asked me about his weight. So I said 65 pounds. Yeah, he's 16, yes, but he's a tiny boy. And for some reason, someone, when we were admitted upstairs, in a paperwork changed 65 pounds to 65 kilos, thinking mother must make a mistake. My mom doesn't make that kind of mistakes, no. The thing is that he was given all double antibiotics, IVs, those kind of stuff for 2 days. And it was scary, very, very scary situation when I realized what is happening. No one, literally no one, noticed the mistake. Even the nurse who was actually bathing him, and she saw him, how thin he is, she came back to me with, I need to take his blood, but I need to poke him twice. I said, why? Because he's over 45 kilos. And I look at him, huh? What? Oh, how do you know that? Well, it says in his chart he's 65 kilos. And I'm 65 kilos, and I'm much bigger than my son. So that was the moment when I realized what they did. The thing is that they didn't actually saw Vasily at all. They were looking at the paperwork and examining him, so those things together didn't happen at all. That is one of the bad examples how family center service is not met at all. Hopefully they learn their lesson, and you will learn something from this story. The other story is good story. That is the one we have, for example, teen clinic with Dr. Gorter that I hope you're going to watch his webinar about future. And we're always looking forward to go there because, you know, when we go there, we feel relaxed and we're bragging about what we do. Of course, we are, talking about issues as well, but it is just an environment where we don't feel judged, and if there is any help, we will get help. So it is just a beautiful example of how family-centered service is supposed to look like. So, evidence on family-centered service does show developmental gains for child and parents less stressed and better mental health outcomes and all of that. I can tell you from my experience, because our services and our lives are mostly family-centered service, so I can feel that I'm not as stressed as I was before. And as you can see on that picture, we can actually enjoy our life a bit, you know. We, for example, like to drive motorcycles, and I know we could choose some other ways to do fun part, but this is our thing. So this year we got a ATV, and I will try to adopt it for Vasilia so he can ride also. I might succeed, maybe not, but if we do, you will see pictures and, you know, from that experience. So if you are a service provider, apply this strength-based approach and let parents brag about their child, hear them and learn from them about what they like and what they, you know, enjoy to do, and then you try to do your service to meet their goals, because their goals are the most important ones, not your goals. And parents, you know, you fight for your goals, because that is important. And by my experience, that's something that we did. We set up our goals and we worked toward that, sometimes with, sometimes without service providers. And we're good. So if you want to learn more about family-centered service, go to CanChild website, and there is in section of research in practice, there is family-centered service, where you can see 18 tip sheets free for you to use and download, and I think many other information that are really useful and good for people. So school, I like to talk about this, really, because my son actually likes the school, and I'm not stressed about school. Did I get your attention? Yeah, I guess so. So research shows that student achievements improves with parents actively involved. And yes, I am actively involved in school, um, um, basically as needed, but I follow up with everyone there. My son's goal is to graduate, which was at the beginning, I even got a question, why? And of course I said, why not? Because he really enjoyed his achievement when he get back the test from the school, and then he brags about that, you know, like 80% or 85% from science and math and whatever. So he is, you know, he feels more confident, and he feels good about himself, which is really, really important. So the picture you can see from Special Olympic Soccer, like a small award that he got as most valuable player. And yeah, he is included in a soccer team there, and they were playing, and they do that every year. He really, really enjoys that. Even with this, they put this together. The school put this together for him, and the children were in a, you know, in a gym. They got everything in a gym, and, you know, give him an award. That was really awesome. He really, really likes it. So yeah, inclusion is happening for us, and it didn't before. And I know, I can hear you, you know, with all the problems and everything that is happening. But it can be better, I promise. So I will tell you on the next slide how you can get school experience a little bit better for your child, or for you know, your client. So in here you can see, look first at the letter, then at the picture. I put together advocacy letter and guide that you can find on CanChild website, where F-words tools are. We will show you a link after. So this can really, really help with your IEP meetings and any meetings at school. So please, I advise you to go there and read and download, fill out. It will help. So because I was that mother on a picture, at the beginning I didn't even dress up. You know, I was T-Rex trying to do. I try to be polite. I try to be a T-Rex. I try everything, and just didn't work that way. The key message is to emphasize and show other people, not only in school, abilities of a child, and show them what he or she can do. So that kind of approach will get you where I am now, and I'm happy with school. So here you can see the where you can find the tools that can help you. The advocacy letter and guide that I made for you, but also our researchers and people at CanChild put together newsletters for parents and educators and tip sheets. So please go there, download. It's free to download and use. It is really, really helpful. So just to prove myself and show you how good Vasilia is in school. This was made by surprise. That's how video is not so perfect, but you can see it. We came to school and I got him that cake, but they actually did this, and it is just a very neat situation for us. Take a look.
Move him closer to the, yeah.
Okay, and there's a cake. And here you can see some more of our pictures having fun. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoy it.